Hello, this is Solomon Davis, Right Side Trader. Today is February 12th, 2023, and this is my weekly market review where I review the Russell 2000 on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendations here. Just a look at the market and seeing what I see that may happen. I expect to happen. But again, remember, no trade recommendation. Do your own due diligence, do your own study of the market based on your system and the way you look at the market and the way you trade. This is just a second man's opinion of what I see. All right, let's jump right over to the charts and see what I see. On the quarterly chart, we are still green. Our stochastic is turning over for the longer term type things that I look at and what I do. So I'm seeing that it's still okay for me to be cautiously bullish. I like saying now. So that's where what I see for the longer term type stuff. But as we go down to the monthly chart, right quick, what I see is I'm still above the 10, so that still keeps me on the bullish side a little bit, but cautiously. But I ended up with a red candle here on this monthly chart for the beginning of this month and all, which is not that great. My stochastic is still pointing up on my monthly stochastic, but down on my quarterly stochastic. So I'm kind of watching that. On my weekly chart, I'm at the top and I'm managing any trades that I may be in already. And I'm trying to decide, okay, how much profit do I give back and all, or did I close my trades on Friday? That's the big question there. Then here on the daily chart, it's saying it might be time to jump back in if I did get out. But me, the type of person who don't like carrying stuff over the weekend, I would wait until Monday before I do anything and see what happens on that day. So let's go ahead and zoom down and take a closer look at each one of these charts where you can see maybe a little bit better what I'm talking about. And on the quarterly chart here, as I said, it's green. We're above pivot. We at a line. This red line on here is a area where I was thinking that the market would stay in between and go sideways. We kind of broke out a little bit above that and came back in, but I do have a support almost from my stochastic where it's turning. So again, that keeps me that slightly bullish, cautiously bullish on anything that I may have with the Russell. And I think that this might just be a pullback, a bounce, then go higher. But that's why, again, I will be waiting before I go long if I'm not already long. Right here on the monthly chart, we did get above the 10, the previous week, and this week we did still close above the 10, but it looks like we could be at the top of this range right here. And if we're at the top of this range and we end up falling back in, that would not be good for any long trades. But if we're at the top of this range and it's just testing the top of this range now and getting ready to go higher, that's what we have to be looking out for now. So if you're in any trades at this point right here, you just have to decide, okay, how much are you willing to give back, or how much are you willing to lose if this thing is getting ready to, is it making a topping pattern and turning to the downside? But if it's testing this level and going higher, you just end up having a target way up here somewhere and just make sure you just stay on top of your trade. Next, on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we can see a little bit better how we did kind of, my top was here. The market top was actually, my range was here, that I was expecting the market to stay within our range. It's broken out of this range one other time before. It actually broke out of this range probably after the first time I had set it up. I didn't adjust it to up here. I like having it in my range based off this market where it based over here in this area right here, and just leave it there. And it topped right here, even though it broke out one time here and came back in here, and then it stayed in this range, as we can see on this weekly chart. And again, it's just doing like what it did before. It ended up breaking out a little bit and then coming back down. That's why, again, I'm saying you have to be kind of cautious about this thing. Is it going to repeat this pattern that it did over here and actually drop all the way back in here? So that's why I say you got to have a stop in place. You got to realize how much money are you willing to give back if you actually caught some of this going up. If you actually was looking at the larger picture and got into a trade at this time, you got to decide how much of a loss are you willing to take, if you're in something right here, right now. So that's all I really want to say on that. based on this time frame. On the daily chart, as we can see, we had made a top. We had topped off of this top back over here. Let me just I'll do a little drawing based off of this top over here. As you can see, this top here almost went to the same level. I'll do another little drawing to make sure it's really clear what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this right here, and I like going to there. I like what I'm doing. I'm drawing from the top of this candle to the base, this red candle that dropped down on a daily chart. And we did come into that zone, and we ended up closing one day in that zone, and then the next day we ended up closing out of that zone, and that downward trade, that short trade should have been on. Then your stop for your short trade would have been at the top of the zone. Your target my target would have been down to this point right here. No trade recommendation. This has already happened. This is done. Because again, if I was short, I'd have been out of this trade at this point right here anyway. Now, if I'm long, it's a whole different game. So I don't want to go there. This is all I really want to share. This is Solomon, Right Side Trader. Hope this has been helpful. Talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl too. Go Chiefs, go Eagles. I don't care who wins. I'm not into football like that much. Talk to you later. Bye.